Turnout among younger voters is declining, not just in Oklahoma, but all across the country. Why is that? And what can be done to encourage younger citizens to take part in this important civic duty? I spoke with reporter Keaton Ross with our content partner Oklahoma Watch to find out. Keaton, you wrote an extensive article on this. Just how bad is it? What do the numbers tell us from our recent elections?
It's certainly a cause for concern among civic engagement advocates, folks who want to see more people involved in the electoral process. In the November 2022 midterm election, there were about 25% of registered voters in the 18 to 30 range that actually cast a ballot. That was about half of the total overall percentage of all registered voters. So certainly a cause for concern.
And you would think that State Question 820, which would have legalized recreational marijuana, might have galvanized young voters, but apparently that didn't happen.
The numbers there, it was just under 10% of voters in the 18 to 30 demographic cast a ballot in that race. Certainly some questions lingering, maybe some theories I've seen out there are that, recreational marijuana is relatively accessible in Oklahoma. So a lot of people have got access to that, maybe weren't as motivated to go to the polls for that special election.
Keaton, apathy among all voters, not just young voters, has to be there because recently in Oklahoma, the vast majority of elections were decided before a single general election vote was cast, correct?
Looking at the November 2022 race across state legislative races, so all House of Representative seats and half of the Senate seats were up for re-election. But nearly 70% of those races were decided before the November election date. Either no one challenged an incumbent legislator for that seat, or the race was decided in a single party primary. And that was a pretty significant reduction from 2018, the last midterm race. So certainly we're seeing fewer competitive races. There were a few bills filed this legislative session seeking to put if you had two Republicans for, say, filing for a seat, they would just advance that to the November ballot is what this bill proposed. That didn't get very far in the process. So it will be interesting to see how that evolves looking ahead to 2024.
Keaton Ross with Oklahoma Watch. Explain online voter registration. It exists, but you still have to jump through some hoops to complete the process.
Under the current system, you can fill out an online application on your computer or your phone or whatever you have, but you're required to print that out and either hand deliver it or mail it to your county election board. So that's a hoop that's in Oklahoma that other states, the majority of states have figured out an online system where you can do that entirely electronically. Oklahoma officials say that sort of system is coming and is coming soon, but it's been several years since that was approved, and there hasn't been much movement on that in recent years.
The final question, you're a relatively young voter yourself. If young voters don't get out and vote, then the issues that mean the most to them are going to be decided by others. I know that's obvious, but that's the bottom line.
If this trend continues and the participation doesn't increase, is that the interests of younger people won't be as well represented at the Capitol. And that's true also in the candidate selection process. If you don't have young people running for those, county level seats or legislative seats, that also goes hand in hand. So it comes down to voting as well as getting involved in the process of becoming a candidate yourself.
And that's really an excellent point. Keaton Ross with Oklahoma Watch, thank you very much for the information and the time.
Thank you for having me.